What if the enemy you despise, the one you argue with online, the one whose very existence fills you with rage, was manufactured for you? Not by accident, but by design. In the 1971 Stanford prison experiment, ordinary students assigned the role of guard became sadistic tyrants in mere days. The prisoners devolved into states of severe emotional distress. At the Robbers Cave, researchers took 22 boys, split them into two groups, and within a week, manufactured such intense hatred that the groups were raiding each other's cabins. These were not just academic exercises, they were blueprints, foundational proofs of concept demonstrating the terrifying plasticity of human allegiance. Today, the laboratory has scaled. It's no longer a basement or a summer camp. It's the sleek black mirror in your pocket. Every scroll is a calculated stimulus. The dopamine rush from a viral video, the cortisol flood from an outrage post, the oxytocin bond from a like within your digital tribe, these are not side effects. They are the intended mechanism of action. The architects of this system have moved beyond simple observation. They are now actively scripting the play. The question is no longer if you are a subject in an experiment. The only question left is, who is on the other side of the glass taking notes? Your brain is not designed for modern society. It is a legacy piece of hardware built for survival on the savannah. It is fundamentally, biologically tribal. Think of the visceral loyalty of sports fans. A Bayern Munich supporter feels a genuine physiological response to Borussia Dortmund. It isn't a rational choice. It's a deep-seated neurological reflex. When your team scores, your brain's reward centers the ventral tegmental area and the nucleus accumbens unleash a wave of dopamine, the same chemical involved in love and addiction. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, strengthens your connection to your fellow fans, your tribe. Conversely, when the opposing team threatens, your amygdala, the brain's ancient alarm system, goes into overdrive, pumping adrenaline and cortisol into your system, preparing you for a fight. Functional MRI studies provide the terrifying proof. When test subjects are presented with political statements that contradict their own, the brain regions that activate are not those associated with logic or reason. Instead, the amygdala and the insular cortex areas linked to threat perception and visceral disgust light up. Your brain literally processes political disagreement as a physical threat. This is the master switch. The puppet masters don't need to invent new ways to control you. They just need to exploit the switches that are already there, hardwired by millions of years of evolution. They know precisely which buttons to push to make you love your team and despise theirs. Forget psychology for a moment. This is a game of chemistry. Social media platforms are not communication tools. They are neurochemical delivery systems, engineered with the precision of a pharmaceutical lab. The core engine is a principle ripped straight from B.F. Skinner's research, intermittent reinforcement. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines in Las Vegas so catastrophically addictive. You pull the lever or refresh the feed, never knowing if you'll get a reward, a like, a share, a comment. The unpredictable nature of this dopamine hit is far more potent than a consistent reward, forcing you into a compulsive loop of checking and scrolling. This is then layered with other chemical manipulations. Confirmation bias, the tendency to favor information that confirms your existing beliefs, is chemically supercharged. Finding an article that proves you are right triggers a release of serotonin, making you feel good, calm, and correct. Conversely, encountering opposing viewpoints triggers a spike in cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Your body literally feels under attack. This stress narrows your focus, degrades your capacity for critical thought, and makes you more susceptible to simple, emotionally resonant messages. And your mirror neurons, the basis of empathy, are turned against you. When you see a video of thousands of others expressing outrage, your brain automatically begins to mirror those same emotions, creating a cascade of manufactured mass hysteria. It's not an accident. It is a carefully crafted chemical cocktail designed to keep you addicted, stressed, and emotionally suggestible. If you believe this is a new phenomenon, you have not read the documents. This is not a theory. It is a documented operational strategy. The FBI's COINTELPRO, or counterintelligence program, was not just about surveillance. Declassified files show agents actively infiltrated civil rights groups, instigated violence between rival factions, and used psychological warfare to discredit leaders. They did not just watch the opposition, they steered it. Then there is Operation Northwoods, a proposed and rejected false flag operation by the U.S. Department of Defense. The plan, in writing, was to commit acts of terrorism against American civilians and military targets, blame it on Cuba, and manufacture public support for a war. This was not conceived by fringe lunatics. It was drafted by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Go back further to the Soviet trust operation of the 1922nd. The State Security Agency created a fake, monarchist, anti-Bolshevik organization. For nearly a decade, they used the trust to identify and neutralize real dissidents, all while feeding disinformation to foreign intelligence agencies. This is the classic playbook. Control your enemy, and you control the conflict. Today, the playbook is just digitized. Look at the funding. George Soros's Open Society Foundations and the Koch brothers network appear to be polar opposites. Yet, investigations have shown their capital often originates from and flows through the same networks of elite global finance. Think tanks on the left and right, from the Brookings Institution to the Heritage Foundation, regularly receive funding from the same handful of corporate and financial behemoths: BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. The supreme advantage of controlled opposition is that it allows both sides to feel righteous, to feel like they are fighting the good fight. But the House always wins, because the House owns both teams. The spectacle of modern politics is not a battle for the soul of a nation. It is professional wrestling. The rivalries seem real, the smack talk is convincing, the emotional investment from the audience is genuine, but the outcome is managed to perpetuate the show itself. This is political theater on a global scale, and you have been cast in a role without an audition. Using sophisticated psychographic profiling harvested from your digital footprint, they have custom designed an ideological product for every personality type. Are you rebellious and question authority? Here is your anti-establishment narrative, complete with its own heroes and villains. Are you a traditionalist who values order and stability? Here is your conservative value system, designed to protect what you hold dear. Are you an intellectual who prizes logic and individualism? Here is your libertarian philosophy, perfectly tailored to your sense of reason. Every demographic, every psychological profile is catered to. The system ensures you have a political home that feels like it was made just for you, because it was. The dopamine rush of an election win keeps you invested in the game. The cortisol spike from a devastating loss keeps you angry, reactive, and ready for the next round. It prevents strategic, long-term thinking and locks you into an endless cycle of emotional response. The most perfect system of control is not one of overt tyranny. It is the illusion of choice, coupled with a neurochemical addiction to the fight. You believe you are fighting for freedom, for justice, for your way of life, while actively serving the very system that limits your true agency. How is this system maintained with such efficiency? The architecture is elegant in its cruelty. It is a prison with no walls, a cell you carry with you. It is built on 3 pillars. First, the filter bubble, an algorithmically curated reality where you are shielded from opposing viewpoints. This is not for your comfort. It is to make you intellectually brittle. When you inevitably encounter a dissenting idea, it feels not like a disagreement, but a violent intrusion, triggering the cortisol stress response we discussed. Second, the echo chamber, where your own views are endlessly repeated and amplified back to you by a chorus of similar voices, both real and artificial. This constant validation delivers serotonin, making your beliefs feel not just correct but morally righteous. It creates ideological purity at the cost of intellectual diversity. And third, the gamification of outrage. The system has learned that nothing generates engagement clicks, shares, comments like anger. It actively prioritizes and promotes the most divisive, inflammatory content because your rage is its fuel. This digital panopticon is more effective than any guard tower. You are not just the prisoner. You are also the guard, policing your own thoughts and the thoughts of those in your tribe for any deviation from the accepted narrative. The walls of this prison are invisible, built from code and reinforced by your own neurochemistry. But the very act of seeing the architecture, of understanding the blueprint, is the first step toward finding the exit. Recognizing the architecture of the prison is the first step. Dismantling it is the real work. It is not about winning the argument with the other side. That is playing their game. The goal is to stop playing altogether. This requires a radical act of conscious rebellion against your own programming. First, practice information austerity. Starve the algorithm. Deliberately reduce your consumption of news and social media that is designed to elicit an immediate emotional response. Replace it with long-form content, books, lectures, and documentaries from varied, challenging sources. Second, actively seek cognitive dissonance. Make it a daily practice to read, with genuine intellectual curiosity, the smartest arguments from the people you disagree with most. Do not read to rebut, read to understand. This is a workout for your prefrontal cortex, strengthening your rational mind against the hijack of the amygdala. Third, reclaim your neurochemistry. Engage in activities that provide genuine, earned dopamine and serotonin. Learn a skill, build something with your hands, spend time in nature, have a deep conversation with someone face to face. These are the organic rewards your brain craves, and they immunize you against the cheap, synthetic highs of digital validation. This is not a fight against a political party or a foreign power. It is a fight for your own cognitive sovereignty. They designed an enemy to keep you distracted, angry, and controllable. The ultimate act of defiance is to refuse to hate them. It is to turn your attention inward and begin the difficult, essential work of designing your own mind.